On the show today, we bring you 4 inspirational stories of coaches who are teaching their teams about more than just the game.
From high school to the college level and beyond, see how these coaches are daily living out their faith. It's all starting right now. This is Game On.
What's up? Welcome to Game On. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Alongside of Rhett McGibbon and Bobby Bolig, I'm Matt Warner.
Yeah, so often in sports media, we focus on athletes and what they've accomplished on the field. But on today's show, we're taking a different approach.
Yes, today we are taking the time to introduce a couple coaches that have made the difference in the lives of so many others.
That's right. We begin with a man by the name of Butch Jennings. As a coach, you could describe him with one word: visionary. He has a plan, a vision, not just for winning games, but for changing lives. And that's exactly what he's attempting to do at a unique high school in Youngstown, Ohio.
In Nehemiah 2:20 it says, "He is the one that will give us success, but we, his servants, shall rise and build."
The building process is not new to Butch Jennings. In the early 90s, he built himself into a Division I football player at Liberty University. And then he took to rebuilding his overweight, underachieving little brother, Rashad.
I asked Rashad, look at yourself as a 30-year-old man. And he looked at me and I said, look at yourself as a 30-year-old man. What will you tell Rashad Jennings now? That was the biggest thing I've ever asked my brother. And that's what changed his life.
That question and some brotherly love helped reinvent Rashad, setting the course for the NFL career he enjoys today. Butch's love for football and his passion to help young men made coaching a natural fit. He would lead Virginia Episcopal School to 2 state championships, but in his heart, he began to feel a deeper calling.
I said, okay, I'm going to challenge God. I said, I know what I really want. I would love to be at a Christian school, a private Christian school. And I said, I would like to be there to do one thing. I want to work with some urban kids, some minorities. And I said, but God, ain't no school out there like that. And we laughed about it, wrote it on the board, and Habakkuk 2 came to life for me. Write the vision, make it plain so that others can read it. And I kid you, we rode that vision out, me and my wife, for 2 years straight, praying. And I saw this job, and it said urban community job, Christian environment, and it said it was like 75% minorities. I just shook my head, and when we got here, it was awesome.
The here is Valley Christian School in Youngstown, Ohio, a unique environment with a clear-cut mission.
Valley Christian Schools is located in the worst-ranked public school district in the state of Ohio. 615 public school districts. This district is ranked 615. Most private Christian schools are tuition-based, so there's a tuition barrier to getting in. But because of school choice in Ohio, most of our kids are funded with public dollars. So what we're able to do is actually serve a very desperate community in very unique and Christ-centered ways.
And that's exactly the opportunity that Butch Jennings has as the head football coach at Valley Christian.
My motto is filled by passion, but guided by purpose. And that's what we do. These kids are filled by passion to play the game, but I have a responsibility. As they're exercising their passion, I have to begin to guide them by purpose. But also in training these young men, we've discovered something here. These young men are hungry. They're thirsty for knowledge. They're thirsty for Christ. They're ready to go to the next level. They want to change their community. So I decided to partner with these young men, help them change their community. And that's what we're doing together.
And as Coach Jennings begins to build up these young men at Valley Christian, he also has another building project in mind.
Some people would see this, see something tore up, dilapidated. I see opportunity.
Historic Old South Stadium is the practice facility for Valley Christian. But ever the dreamer, Jennings knows with the right help, it can be so much more.
I see a great opportunity to unify this community through this Old South Stadium. And so that's what the real vision is. It's gonna take a lot of work, it's gonna take the community. But being a Liberty grad, one thing I learned from Dr. Falwell, you can't think small. And I have the kids sometimes, come down here and say, this is how you rebuild a wall, you rebuild a wall with a brick. But this brick, I always tell them, this brick is you. You got holes in it, and we need to fill it. But I said, when you fill the holes with the mortar, it's to stick back up in here. And I said, that's what we're gonna do with this football program. We're gonna rebuild this football program. So when I see this, it's a sign of hope, because I know when something is broken, it's designed to be rebuilt.
Whether it's those taking the field or the field itself, Jennings is always building, always pursuing the vision that God has laid out for him.
He is the one that will give us success. But we, his servants, shall rise and build. It's time to rebuild the youth of Youngstown. We, his servants, shall rise and rebuild together.
You know, guys, I was lucky enough to be on that shoot in Youngstown, Ohio, talking to Butch, and the thing that really stood out to me was the vision that he has, right? It's easy to just go to work hard, take it day by day, but not everybody has a vision for the future and what they want to accomplish, and he certainly does. And for me, at least my big takeaway from being there with him, and certainly from that story as well, is that's something that I think we all need, certainly myself, a vision, a plan, something you're working towards.
I love how he took that vision as well and he brought it to God and he said, hey, God, find me a place where I can fulfill my vision.
Yeah.
Bring me to a school where I can make the largest impact, and God was faithful and brought him to that place.
And I would say, too, it wasn't even, just this big vision, but he said right away that, the biggest thing he took away from Liberty was to dream big, Don't just have a little goal. It's go all out there. Have the biggest goal you can. And I think that's a huge thing to have a goal for a goal.
Yeah, and he certainly does that. As you saw, the facilities there, a long way to go, but he sees what they can be, and I think having seen and heard him talk, I have no doubt that it'll get there.
Yeah, it's going to be something special for sure. Well, coming up, after nearly giving up on the game of basketball, see how Wiley-Porter is now making an impact through the sport.
And see how one man tackles the tough task of coaching at the junior college level. That's when Game On returns.
You have learned not just how to make a living, but also how to live. You have learned from the teachings of Jesus to live your lives by the great commandment, love God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbors as yourselves. Liberty's mission is to train young people to succeed in every profession and to be the salt of the earth and the light of the world.
The more people tell you it's not possible, that it can't be done, the more you should be absolutely determined to prove them wrong. Treat the word impossible as nothing more than motivation. As long as you have pride in your beliefs, courage in your convictions, and faith in your God, then you will not fail.
Liberty University.
This is no ordinary school.
This is more than an education.
We're here to equip students
To make an impact.
On a global scale.
We believe we were created
To make a difference.
to serve God.
And each other.
Wherever we are.
Whatever we study, we are.
Champions for Christ.
We are.
We are.
We are Liberty University.
Anyone who may be doubting being able to go back to school or doing online and having time, I would say LU Online is the best way to go. I'm 31, this was my 4th degree, you can get it done. I changed jobs in the middle of it. It's possible, it's flexible. So many people are like, oh, it's another degree, I don't know if I can do this, or even their first time going to school, getting a bachelor's or an associate's. It's worth it, especially if you do have to work, because so many of us today, we don't have the means to not work and go to school. I feel like LU Online allows us to do that. My experience with the online professors has been really good, and they're all over the world. They have different hours, yes, as far as time zones, but they said email them, call them, you could Skype with them, you could FaceTime with them. So it was really kind of nice, Sunday night you're working on a paper, hey, you had a question, you can email your professor, and they would respond right back. I feel like LU Online allows time and the flexibility to do what you need to do in life and in work while getting your degree.
Welcome back. Well, on today's show, we're focusing on coaches making a difference in the lives of others. And Liberty University alum Jerry Porter is certainly that. It's hard to believe there was a time when she thought she was done with the game of basketball. Instead, she spent the past 2+ decades using the game as a means to minister.
I feel like in the moments that we've stumbled earlier in the season, it's been because we looked like a team that didn't have a why. And I've challenged you guys about that. The why comes into play when things get a little bit tight, a little bit tense, a little bit tough. Then you can revert back to why I'm out here in the first place. What am I playing for? Who am I playing for? What is it that's going to fuel us for the next 40 minutes to get this huge conference win tonight? All right, let's go.
For Francis Marion University head coach Jerry Porter, the question of why she played the game of basketball was a big one early in her playing career.
By the time I came off the floor in high school, I was pretty burnt out. And I felt like basketball was beginning to define me at the time. I didn't know that that could be a good thing. And I really wanted to just kind of venture into some other avenues and see who I was beyond the sport.
Despite opportunities to play college ball, Porter chose to attend Liberty University, leaving her jump shot behind and focusing on school.
Liberty had not recruited me, was not one of the schools that had shown any interest. But that was just in my heart, I think, where I knew I wanted to be as a person, as a young person that was really just looking to grow up and mature as an adult, as a young Christian. I just felt like that was the best spot for me with or without the sport.
But 3 years into her studies, Porter had the itch to lace them up once again, so she paid recently hired Liberty women's basketball coach Rick Reeves a visit.
I actually approached him, sight unseen. He did not know me at all, and said, hey, I'm thinking that maybe I want to play basketball. Would you have any interest in me being a part of your team? I still to this day have no idea what it was that really kind of piqued his interest in me, but he allowed me to come in and be a part of his program. So I stepped into the program for the first year as a senior, as an undergrad senior, and then played that year and the following year as a graduate student.
Porter's impact was immediate, and in her second year, she was named All-Big South. But it would be beyond the hardwood where she'd see her biggest growth.
When I graduated from high school, I just, it was my mom's faith, it was my dad's faith, it was the faith that had kind of transcended life for me in terms of who my family was. When I graduated from Liberty, it was my faith because I really had an opportunity in those 4 years to figure out why I believed what I believed in and also to come to an understanding as to who I wanted to be.
When Porter's playing days were finished, she was offered a role on the Liberty coaching staff. But despite being from a family of coaches, she found herself reluctant. Ultimately, it would take a nudge from above for her to accept.
I feel like I was called into the profession. I feel like the Lord had to really kind of change my heart and show me how he could use me in the profession as opposed to just it being something that I wanted to do.
Porter paced the sidelines for 6 seasons as a Liberty assistant under her mentor and former coach before finally getting her first head coaching opportunity at the University of North Alabama.
That was an opportunity stepping into a new role, clearly, because now you're in charge. But it also was a defining moment for me because now you got to figure out who you are as a coach. You got to figure out who you are as a mentor, as the ultimate leader of a program, as opposed to just someone who works for a great leader. You're now that person who people are going to look to make decisions, who the kids are going to look to for guidance.
Porter excelled on the sidelines, finding success at UNA before making stops at Radford, George Mason, and ultimately Francis Marion. While she's collected over 200 career coaching victories, Porter has chosen to focus on a bigger accomplishment.
For me personally, through the course of my journey, though, I have time and time again had to come full circle back to the whole idea of ministry. To work as unto the Lord. It is to be the mentor, the leader, the coach, the mom, whatever it is that these young ladies need me to be. It's to be just that for them.
And after another big conference win on this day, there seems to be no slowing down for this once reluctant coach who is now fulfilling God's call on her life.
When I look back over just the entirety of a 24, 25-year span and all of the women who've come along, and not just the impact I've had on them, but the impact they've had on me and the difference that they have made in my life and the lessons that they've taught me. I just think it's a blessing. And I think that as long as I can stay focused on, wanting to continue to do this job as unto the Lord and not get hung up on the things that eventually are going to fade away anyway. Then I can continue to do it and have a lot of joy and a lot of peace about doing it.
Hey guys, watching this story, I just think it's an amazing testimony that she has. She was ready to give up the game of basketball. Yeah. She gave it up. She said, God, I'm done with it for now. Take me to the school where I'm going to grow the most in my faith. And then God took her to Liberty University and then brought basketball back to her, and it was just a perfect marriage of sport and faith.
And as she was deciding where she was going to go to school, and then she got into basketball, the biggest question she kept asking the whole way, her whole journey is, what's the why? What's the why? And I think that's a huge thing she doesn't carry over in her own life, but carries over to other athletes. What's the why beyond what you're doing in the present?
Yeah, she's an inspiration to those athletes that she coaches. And the cool thing for me was when we posted this story to social media, there was an outpouring from former players, from colleagues in the coaching community, from coaches she coached with throughout her career. It's one thing to be a good person when the camera's on, right? You say all the right things. But all these people that she's known throughout the years are saying this is who she is and what an inspiration she has been in their life. And that's impressive to hear other people speak up on her behalf.
Definitely, for sure.
Well, still to come, his past makes him uniquely qualified for his job now. See how one coach is succeeding through caring.
That's all when Game On returns.
This is Liberty University, the world's largest Christian university. Want to come visit us? Well, you're in luck. Homecoming is a perfect opportunity for alumni, families, and newcomers to participate in the game day experience. At College for a Weekend, you get to hear from speakers, go to classes, and attend our weekend concert. Ring in the new year with us at Winterfest. Spend the day snowboarding at Snowflex, rock climbing, or at the Artist Q&A, then rock out at night with the top Christian artists. With so many ways to visit our campus, why aren't you here already?
Hi, I'm Anita, and I'm graduating with a degree in business administration and a minor in psychology. I love Liberty Online because of its flexibility. I can spend time with my family and, go back to the schoolwork later, even if it's at midnight. I can be at home, do my schoolwork in my pajamas, and it's worked out perfect, absolutely perfect. I've been able to help take care of my 3-year-old grandson while his parents work, so that's just been awesome. I didn't take classes for 20 years. I was on unemployment and applying for jobs. I had the experience, but I didn't have the degree that was usually required. Coming back as an older, more mature, wiser person, I did much better. You can do it. Don't underestimate yourself. I totally was underestimating myself, but I am smarter than I thought. I am especially excited to graduate because I will be graduating with my daughter. I can't wait to see what God has in store for my life.
Meet William Byron, Liberty University student and Xfinity Series driver of the number 9 Chevrolet. Since William was a child, he dreamt of racing. His continued partnership with Liberty University means he's able to pursue his college degree while chasing the checkered flag. Look for William Byron and the Liberty University number 9 Chevrolet on race day during the Xfinity Series this season.
I'm Marty Mischins. I'm a master firefighter with the Lynchburg Fire Department. I'm currently enrolled in the Master of Arts in Executive Leadership Program. Liberty Online has been really flexible with my schedule. Having a family and having a full-time career with the Lynchburg Fire Department. Liberty Online worked great with me to be able to transition from completing a bachelor's and turning right back around and getting into a master's program, which is something that I never thought that I would even consider.
Welcome back to the show. Now, there's an old saying that goes, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Former Liberty basketball player Ryan Mantlo has seen firsthand both sides of that story. A former JUCO player himself is now using his story to give his players the best opportunity to succeed.
Fingers, 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 let's go!
Coach Ryan Mantlo spends most days motivating.
Come on, Nick! Thought you could shoot it, Nick!
Mentoring.
The teacher says we need to get working on English.
And teaching.
I want to really trap 3 the whole time.
He's the head men's basketball coach and athletics director at Cape Fear Community College in Wilmington, North Carolina. And his players are all working towards playing at the next level.
We know that our job is to serve them and get them ready for that 4-year level. And I tell them, look, there's a plan for you, and for some reason you're at Cape Fear, and it's going to be all right.
Perfect, that's all right. We can recover out of that.
Coach Mantlo understands junior college basketball as a coach and as a player. He began his playing career at Eastern Wyoming Community College under then head coach Bob Davis.
That's my guy. He's everything to me. I'd gotten into a little bit of trouble in high school and lost all the scholarships that I had, and I thought I was down in the dumps, and one day Coach Davis gave me a call and said, look, we got a place and I think it could be a good fit for you. He brought me in under his wing when I played for him, and he was always tough, but at the same time you knew he cared about you, and that's what meant the most. I was never a believer before I got to Eastern Wyoming, and Coach Davis called me and asked me to go work a Fellowship of Christian Athletes camp with him, and had no idea what I was getting myself into, and a week later, it was something very, very special, and asked God into my heart at that camp, and since then, Coach Davis continued to work with me on that part of it, and really helped me grow and mature as a young man.
When Ryan's junior college playing career ended, he was ready to move up to the next level. And Coach Davis was looking for a new coaching position.
Coach Davis called me over to his house and saying, look, I could possibly be going to Liberty. Liberty wasn't recruiting me. Honestly, I'd never heard of Liberty. I was getting recruited by some bigger schools. We actually flew out on a visit together. I think that Monday we got home, I ended up signing.
And Coach Davis took a position as an assistant.
It was awesome.
Nice screen. Mantlo, he's three-point range.
That Vine Center was rocking and rolling.
That's taken away by Dees.
Walker doesn't have the greatest set of hands.
Mantlo takes the three. He drops it in.
All right, Mantlo is officially on fire.
It was a dream come true. I'd always dreamt of playing on a stage like that.
Oh, Mantlo steals it. He's going to dish it out to Blair all by himself. Slams it home.
We had key pieces, David Dees and Larry Blair, who were brand new freshmen, and they were super, super talented. And then we had a great core of seniors with Glenn Turner and Levon Sneed and Gabe Martin and Jason Sarches. So we had a great nucleus of kids that understood how to win. And I think the freshmen bought in and we just clicked.
During his senior season at Liberty, Ryan was named team captain. He then led the Flames to the Big South Championship and a trip to the NCAA tournament.
Being able to win a championship and play in the NCAA tournament is something that I'll, never forget.
Liberty 18-14, champions of the Big South. The St. Joseph's Hawks, #1 seed, and it's controlled by Liberty. Levon Sneed has it.
When his playing career ended, Ryan wanted to coach, so he volunteered at Colorado State. A year later, he took a job screen printing, but the desire to coach basketball weighed heavy on his heart.
But I still had such a passion for it, and there was certainly a doubt of what was going to happen, and I could see myself sometimes falling into making decent money screen printing. But my heart was still set on coaching, and I knew that there was going to be something that come open for me.
And it did.
Start leading now, 10. Start leading now, 10.
The coaching position at Cape Fear Community College.
I was scared to death.
Shot. Good shot, Z.
And I called Coach Davis and said, man, what do I do? And he said, you know what to do. Get them to play hard and play together and have fun. And we did that, and we turned this thing around and went from kind of a bottom dweller to now, being nationally known.
Coach Mantlo is competitive, and he wants to win, but says his main goal is to grow his players into strong men.
I go back to how Coach Davis was. He was always very demanding of us. There's always going to be somebody that's smarter than us, that knows more, X's and O's than we do.
You got to communicate. Jock and AD. Come on. Again.
His motto was just take care of the kids, man. If you take care of kids the right way and treat them the right way and hold them accountable, then you're going to be successful. And so that's what we try to do. We try to treat kids the right way and help them grow. And they get it. They know that we're not using them, that we have a genuine care for them.
Yes, perfect.
If you're showing, that you care for somebody and you're really trying to help, then they really start to trust and latch on, and it creates a special bond.
Now, guys, you look at Ryan Mantlo's story, and you look at the other ones we were just talking about, and I think the biggest thing to take away that not were they just mentors, but along their journey they were mentored as well. And I think that's the biggest thing in life is that, it's the people who invest in the time that really makes the person you are. And I think that's the biggest thing, that not only were they mentors, but they were mentored themselves.
Yeah, they're paying it forward now. And, you think about being a junior college head coach, that is not easy. You're getting 2 years with these guys. You don't get 4 years like a normal school. You get 2 years. And a lot of times, these guys don't want to be there. They don't want to be at a JUCO. They want to be at a D1 or someplace else. So maybe they come in with some attitude problems, and you're trying to really get through to these kids. And we've seen Ryan Mantlo have the ability to do that, in large part because he went through them himself, and he knows what these guys are going through now.
I think it's cool, too, how Ryan's initial coach there at JUCO followed his faith and just said, I'm going to invite this guy to an FCA camp. And he did that. He followed Christ's leading, and all of a sudden, he gets saved. I think that's just awesome to see, following what God has laid upon your heart.
One invitation, and it has changed the course of how many lives.
That's
It's
awesome.
pretty incredible. We talk about coaches that make a difference. One that we're very familiar with is right here at Liberty University, volleyball coach Shane Pender. And he told us what he believes makes a champion, and he told us in his own words.
I don't think anything has ever been done of significance as a leader, or as a group, or team, or organization without a passion. And Liberty University, we get to train champions for Christ, and part of that is going out and competing on the court, at a high level, but with a passion that's playing for something bigger than us. Because at the end of the day, our winning here at Liberty is not just to win volleyball matches; it's to have an opportunity to share the gospel. And the world listens to winners, and so winning is important, but it's not the only thing. At Liberty, obviously, we can teach biblical principles. We don't have to go too far from Christ's example to see that he was a servant leader. It was about others first. And so it's one thing to speak that, teach that, put that in front of a program, say this is one of our cultural things that we're fighting for. It's another thing for the locker room to take ownership of that and actually live that out. There's 3 statements that we say every time before we get out on the floor. And you gotta believe in yourself, you gotta have great belief in how God created you, the skills and gifts and talents he's given you, that he's prepared you for this moment. And then you gotta believe in each other. But the really great teams learn how to play for each other. And so that's a different level.
Swing, Casey. Good swing, Casey. Nice set.
We teach the kids a lot, trying to get them to understand you got to live comfortable with the uncomfortable. And that's where you will be challenged. That's where it won't feel good, but that doesn't mean it's not good for you. I know in my life, the lessons I've learned and the best lessons I've learned have been in the most uncomfortable environments that I didn't feel good. And it wasn't feeling good. But you know what? That's where God reveals his faithfulness, and he says, no, I will be with you in those moments, in those storms. That's when I show my power and my grace and my love and mercy. And so we can't always hide ourselves from the trials and tribulations we gotta go through. There's nothing greater for a coach to watch your athletes go out there and start meeting those goals, and then start to build a confidence in themselves that in time, 10 years from now, 12 years from now, when life gets real and they have to fall back on some skills, that maybe you had a part in that process of helping them fight through stuff and not give in.
Well, that'll about do it for this edition of Game On. We hope hearing these incredible coaches has some way inspired you to make a difference in the life of someone else.
Yeah, so if you want to hear more great stories, make sure you check out our website, GameOnLU.com.
Or on social media at GameOnLU.
Yeah, for Rhett, for Bobby, I'm Matt. Thank you so much for watching. We'll plan on seeing you right here at Game On next time.
Did you know that Liberty University not only offers rigorous graduate programs in business, education, science, and the arts, but is also home to a law school, a medical school, and a school of divinity? Well, now you know.